Let's see what y'all talking about. What are y'all talking about? Who up in here? Who up in here? Damn, I got this. There we go. I'm trying to get my weed out this container. You didn't leave no juice in the container. I gotta watch Harlem Nights. I ain't seen Harlem Nights in a while. Who only leaves this much juice in the container? What's up, Ty Quinn? What's up, SB? What up, Bruce? What's up, chat room? Incense and ashtrays. What's up, Dr. Sinister? What's up, Jalen? Dedication 666. Yes, this particular broadcast is brought to you by lightthemood.com. Jayla and those candles. Boy, them candles smell good. I was burning some of Jayla's candles on my last shroom trip. Let me tell y'all something. When I'm on them shrooms, my environment has to smell great. Like I can't do bad attitudes, and I can't do bad vibrations, and I can't do bad smells. If I'm on them shrooms, I need my environment to smell great, not good. Great. And what's up? And yeah. And again, Jayla, I didn't get to tell you, man. When I saw you in that La Russell video, man, shit, I saw that shit like I replayed that shit like 15 times in a row. Y'all check it out. One of La Russell's. La Russell, y'all, if y'all know who La Russell is, he's one of the dope young hip hop artists, Black American hip hop artists. Unlike the shit Fat Joe talking about. La Russell is what's good about hip hop. He's where hip hop is going. And he had an Instagram video with Jayla in it, in the chat room. Y'all see Jayla in the chat room. Go buy her candles, lightthemood.com. Put in the product code WeSmoke22 for your discount. But when I saw Jayla in that nigga, I was so goddamn proud. Jayla looked like she was catching the Holy Ghost. I said, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yeah, man. No, I did not hear about the coach that was popped at the Little League game. I did not catch that. So, for those of you who don't know, hip-hop was on Power 105 and one of those Latino-run black music radio stations. And this goes into why we're having that pull-up show-up at Power 106 here in LA. When you start allowing these other people to speak for your culture, they start lying on your culture. And Jessica Martinez sat there and let Fat Joe lie and say hip-hop is 50% Latino. I'm not playing the clip because I'm not in my computer. Shit. If I was on my computer, well, I still wouldn't play the clip because I noticed lately, whenever I play clips from like one of those official radio stations like Hot 97 or Power 106 or any of these official radio stations, they be sending out strikes when you play they shit. And it be weird sometimes. You be like, man, I just played the audio clip. It just, the rules are fuzzy and I don't feel like dealing with it. But if y'all look it up and Google Fat Joe, Latinos 50%, created 50% of hip hop. And here's basically how he did it. He basically said because Crazy Legs was a good dancer, and in some of those hip hop movies, you saw Puerto Rican DJs in the movies. Mind you, all this stuff got cracking in the 80s. Fat Joe is saying because a few Latinos were around dancing and they were b-boying, mind you, breaking and all that stuff was old by the time the 80s came around. B-boying and all that stuff, that was some shit they was doing, niggas was doing back in the 70s in New York. You know how black people are. Every year we got a new dance. So, and you know how other groups are. They get really good at what we did 10, 20, 30 years later. Like when we first bring it out, they doing something else. But about 10 years later, 20 years later, shit. They could do black shit as good as black people. And that's just, y'all know how it go. We all, people in here, y'all know the game. Y'all know how it works. So, Fat Joe basically says because two Latinos were around long after hip hop started, as it's evolving, they now claim 50% ownership of the creation of hip hop. One or two spray painters, 3 or 4 DJs, 3 or 4 dancers. My question is this: if Latinos are 50% the creation of hip hop, what about the Caribbeans? They say Kool Herc created hip hop. He's from Jamaica, right? Even though he moved out here when he was 7. So does that mean now Jamaicans get 25%? The Caribbean, because Caribbean people are claiming hip hop, you know? So is it like 50% Latino, 50% Caribbean? And we black Americans are just supposed to be grateful that the Latin and Caribbeans coming together gave us a new sound that we duplicate nationwide, coast to coast, and they can't seem to duplicate in their home countries? This shit is getting wild, y'all. This shit is getting wild. And the crazy part about it is, these are countries that, and there's no disrespect, because like I said, I don't like having these conversations. Because I don't have any issues with Latinos, nor Jamaicans, nor Caribbeans. I really don't. Like, I really would rather we just all chill. That would be my number one priority, that Latinos, Jamaicans, black people in America, everybody have cultural pride in what they do. And we just recognize each other's differences and chill. I'd so much rather not have these conversations. But I'm going to keep reiterating these conversations so we don't forget. Because everyone listening to me, and I have an extremely small audience relative to what Fat Joe can reach and relative to what these people that run these radio stations, my reach is far smaller than theirs. But my hope is for people that listen to me talk music history. My whole hope behind this is that we learn from each other and we pass the information. Like if y'all hear something I say, you know, you pass that down to your children, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins. That's what I want out of this, that we keep spread the message through the grassroots like wildfire. The same way we spread gossip. Niggas can spread some gossip like a motherfucker. I think we need to spread this real shit just as fast. Because that's how we gonna defeat it. You know? We're gonna defeat it with us speaking to amongst each other about these type things. So, Fat Joe said, and this thing about it, like Latinos and Caribbean people don't really get along. Puerto Ricans don't like Cubans. They all hate Mexicans. Jamaican people don't like people from Trinidad. And these are groups that historically don't get along with one another. So to see them come together on something like this is especially insulting. To see them unify around claiming hip-hop when they have no hip-hop to show in their home countries is especially insulting. Because think about it like this. This is the reason why it's insulting. For people who, and I understand that people on the fence who have half lineage, here in America and half in the Caribbean, or people who may be fully from the Caribbean. And you guys, some of you guys, may not may still be a little bit uncomfortable with these type of conversations. If you are, and if you have an open heart, I say listen to it like this. Say you build a house, all right? You design the house. You lay the floor. You finance the house with your own money. Your parents, your grandparents sacrificed themselves, and the money for that house that you built was paid for in your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents' blood and sacrifice. You were segregated. You weren't given any tools to do anything. Matter of fact, you weren't even taught how to build a motherfucking house. You had to figure it out on your own. And you built this house, this beautiful house. And another group that you invite after the house is built, you invite people from another group to come visit your house, and hell, they may even come over while you're painting and say, hey, let me help you paint the house. And you give them, okay, go paint that wall over there. It's a big ass house, but you just go paint that wall, one wall. And then you now pass that house down to your children. And now your children's friends, cousins, children, the children of the person that helped you paint that one wall 40 years ago, they painted one wall. Now they're claiming that they own 50% of the house, and they were essential to the creation, and they brought in core elements to that house. How would you feel? You're like, damn, G, that wall was getting painted whether you were there. Matter of fact, you use 10-year-old paint. We don't even do that no more. But thank you for bringing it back. It's a cool color. But excuse me, talking about you created something. I thought you was the homie. I thought we was cooler than that. That's what it's like when you see these people come in claiming ownership. It's nothing wrong with saying we were major contributors. We were key contributors. And in that, I'd agree. You were some key. You did have some keys in the contributions. I wouldn't say contributors. You were key in essential, I would say contributions, additions. You brought some cool additions for certain eras. Nothing you did lasted. Hell, I say this all the time. When was the last time any of you niggas, matter of fact, it's 36 people in here, 106 people in here, 36 likes. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. And get my Black American music tree at incenseandashtrays.com. My Black American tree breaks all this shit down. But you got these people that want to claim something that it's like you brought in something that was cool. But you didn't build nothing. You weren't core to nothing. All these so-called elements you're talking about that you bring, they're not even new to hip. They're not even new to black music. It's shit that hip hop borrowed from the funk. You talking about shit that hip hop got. You talking about the shit that hip hop inherited from his parents. R&B, funk, disco, and his grandparents, blues and jazz. Hip hop got family jewels that it expressed in its own way. Family jewels I could take you back that we've been handed down to hell. That shit was passed down to the Jews and black and to the blues and jazz from ragtime, and before that, the spirituals, the rural spirituals, and the sacred music. All that stuff y'all talking about. All black music comes with not only a music, it comes with a particular style of dress, a particular song, a particular dance, a particular style of writing, calligraphy, graffiti, whatever you want to call it. Our music isn't just a music. Black music is a full package of expression. And out of the juke joints that we created is also where stand-up comedy comes from. Stand-up comedy comes from that. It's just how we express ourselves as a people. You know what I mean? And this narrative is being spun, and it's being spun on purpose. And it's not being spun by Fat Joe. It's being spun by the white supremacists who put Fat Joe up to this shit. Fat Joe, Busta Rhymes, Pete Rock, these motherfuckers just came out of nowhere talking about this shit. Who sent these motherfuckers? Who sent y'all? And when was the last time Fat Joe had a hit? Why is he still even in the news? Hey, y'all know me. I'm more into the jazz side of the game. Can somebody in the chat room tell me, I ain't been looking at the screen, but can somebody please tell me what was like the last like good song, what year? Like the last time people were playing like a Fat Joe song. Like, can somebody help me? 2007? Lean Back? Yeah. So, we have to clean this up. He literally said, he named like 5 people. And out of 5 people, hell, it's more than 5 people in the Wu-Tang Clan. Hell, if you count all of it, if you add Arabian Prince, it's more than 5 people in NWA, nigga. He said because of 5 people, 2 DJs and 3 dancers, and 2 DJs, 2 dancers, and 1 graffiti dude. Them 5 people are the reason why Latinos are 50% owners. Not only was it just 5 people, it was 5 people who came well after hip hop started. Think about that. The link to the music tree is incenseandashtrays.com. And click on the shop. incenseandashtrays.com. Yeah, man. That's some wild shit. I be thinking like, man, my man Teddy Ray gone and this line motherfucker still here. Man. Rest in peace, Teddy Ray, man. It was dope. I was at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall today. DJ Battle Cat had a live music set, and J-Mo was there on guitar. Terrace Martin, Pocket Queen was on drums. I never saw her live before. She was dope. J-Mo dedicated his set to Teddy. Man, it's been dope seeing all the love Teddy Ray's gotten. Cause let me tell y'all something. He's somebody that it ain't a person on this earth that I know of that can say anything bad about Teddy Ray. Yeah, notice ain't nobody been saying nothing about him. Cause you can't. You ain't gonna hear nothing. You ain't gonna hear nothing shady about Teddy. You ain't gonna hear that. Cause he was a good dude. You know what I mean? Yep, so it ain't gonna be no more people who watch me regularly on here at night. It wasn't uncommon to see a Teddy Ray cameo in one of my videos. What time is it now? Yeah, usually he be walking in about now. I be sitting on the porch live like I am right now. And he'd be getting dropped off in the Uber. Most of the time when he walked by, I wouldn't say nothing because I didn't want y'all to know he lived here. But sometimes I'll be like just sitting out there and he just would pop up. Like, oh, it's Teddy. And I let y'all say whatever y'all wanted to say. I would never tell y'all where he, I would never tell y'all. But yeah, it was from like all this year. I'll be sitting here right here. Hey, what up, D? I appreciate that, Jayla. Yeah. He'd be like, hey, Kenneth Berry, you said some real shit, and I don't fuck with them all deaf dudes like that. I really don't. Some of them, I know most of them, but it's a few that I do. It's a few that I fuck with, but the people I fuck with the hardest mostly got cut out of all deaf. You see them kind of coming back around now, but y'all see the ones that got cut out. Those are what I fuck with the hardest. Now, Teddy was like our little brother. See, y'all gotta realize, my first day doing stand-up was the last Monday of November, 2009. November 30th, I'll never forget that. That was my first day doing stand-up comedy. I jumped in at 10 Toes Down in 2010. And in 2000, and Teddy started like late 2010. I remember when Teddy first started, he would come down to my night. That's when I met him. Because Brent Taylor was his cousin. And it'd be two niggas fatter than me. Him and Valentino. I don't know if y'all know Valentino. Valentino's a comic too, but he don't really be getting up that much. It would always be Teddy and Valentino. Them niggas look like Eminem twins. Butler said you thought I was a crackhead. Yeah. Yeah, and so, because y'all notice the connection between stand-up comedy and hip-hop? It's the same thing with stand-up comedy and jazz, stand-up comedy and blues, stand-up comedy and R&B. There's a brother, stand-up comedy and music, and black music, hip-hop, it's two sides of the same coin. It's like the Republican and Democrat Party. That's what people don't realize. That's how unique we are as a people. So for Fat Joe to claim hip hop is like 50% Latino, where's your tradition of juke joint stand up comedy culture? But yeah, Teddy was comedy, man. It's a rhythm to comedy. And Teddy had that rhythm, man. He just had that timing. Like Teddy never had to think. And one of the last conversations me and Teddy had, I'm not gonna say that. I don't feel comfortable telling that story yet. I probably cry. So I'll say I'll save that story for later. But I'll probably tell y'all that story on Patreon. I don't know. No, I ain't gonna do that. I won't do that shit on no fucking Patreon. That shit corny. I'll tell that shit to y'all when I can tell it to y'all without crying. That's when I'll tell y'all that story. But it was crazy because it was like, when we was talking one time, it was like, we was just talking about how short this shit could be. Cause we was just tripping over Jack Knight. We was just tripping over Jack. Jack was only 28. And every time I saw Jack was always happy. Like I didn't know Jack like that. Cause Jack started at the same time as Teddy. Like a year, so like basically when I started, I was like 29. Like our crew, when you're talking about like me, Craig, Kamira, Kanisha Buzz, John Cia, I think John Cia, no. But John Cia came a little later. But like to hear more, Tony Baker's a little bit older than us. But like all of us, we're in between the age of like 38 and 43, 44. Clayton Thomas, London Brown. Like most of us are high school class of like 98, 99, and 2000. Or 2000, 2001. 97, class of 2002. That's where the bulk of us are. All Daphne, we're all in that between class of 97 and 2001 age range. Maybe 2002. Teddy was like 10 years younger than us. So Teddy was like everybody's little brother, you know? Like everybody was like, oh shit, it was, and I remember when Teddy was like 25, I remember it's certain comics, I'm not gonna mention any names but one of the comics in particular is somebody Corey Holcomb has a major problem with. He's always talking about him. That dude really is an asshole. And Corey's always talking about him on 5150. But even that dude, I remember when Teddy was coming up, even that motherfucker couldn't act like an asshole towards Teddy. And I remember I was looking like, man, this nigga's an asshole towards everybody. But I remember it was one time in particular, the J Spot, he came up and I was like, and that nigga was like, the way he was talking to Teddy, I was like, okay, because this is one of them sometimey ass niggas too. He one of them niggas that one day you see him, y'all hella cool. The next time you see him, if it's somebody that, especially if it's somebody that's famous there, he'll walk right by you. So people like that, I don't fuck with. Like, once I see you the kind of person that one day you cool, one day you not, I just stopped speaking to you, period. I don't have time to guess which person I'm gonna see. Am I gonna see the good you or the bad you? Both of your yous could sit both of y'all monkey asses down, nigga. So once I realized the nigga was like this, I don't even look his way with. But I remember even that dude, like, would just be very complimentary towards Teddy. Not King 83, not Alex Thomas, but you might be right on the other one. Not Alex Thomas. Me and Alex are cool. I love Alex. I don't have any issues with Alex Thomas. Every time I see Alex Thomas, it's all love. I got major love for Alex Thomas. But King B83 was right, but it wasn't Alex Thomas. Alex Thomas is my dog. But other than that, I don't really fuck with them all deaf niggas like that. And I saw when Teddy got fucked. I did it because, like, me, I'm never around, like, drama does a great job of avoiding me. Like, part of the reason why I don't talk to y'all about certain things that go on the internet, because half the time I don't see it. Because I don't, like, one thing about vibration, energy, when you learn how to turn your vibration up, you find ways to not get involved. Like, bullshit runs from you. If you always in some bullshit, that's something going on with your vibration. You got to raise that shit. But I don't get involved in no bullshit. But I always know who to call to get the news from the bullshit. And I'm not saying people who know what it is are low vibration. I'm not saying that. Some people are just on the vibration of being able to, like, some people who just know everything that go on and they don't even get involved. Like, I have a neighbor like that. My neighbor in the back. My neighbor, my tenant, she can't walk. She can't move. I don't know. She can't get around. But she always know everything that happened in the neighborhood. How you doing today? And I be trying to figure out how. Like, how this old lady can't go nowhere, can't even get from her living room to her bedroom, but she know everything that go on in this neighborhood. So, like, when I want the info, I know who to call. And so, but yeah, no, I mean, one time we was all talking, and sometimes you ain't even got to call. One thing about Kamira is the kind of person that she don't like seeing people get fucked over. Kamira White is another person that has a huge heart. Again, she's another person I'm concerned about, because her and Teddy were very close. Kamira and Teddy were, like, so when y'all see Kamira talk, she's not even giving y'all a tenth of how close her and Teddy were. So Kamira was like, it was almost like that big sister that'll bomb on you if you fuck with your little brother. That's what it would be like seeing Kamira and Teddy together. Teddy's so cool and calm, and Kamira calm too, but don't fuck with Kamira, and don't fuck with Teddy. Like, anybody fuck with Teddy, Kamira was ready to whoop they motherfucking ass. And I remember Kamira told me some shit about what was going on up there, because Kamira wasn't involved, but she knew what happened. I was like, they did what to him? I'm not gonna get into any details. Y'all know me. I like to I don't capitalize like that. Details are gonna have to come from the people who were directly involved. I'll just give you niggas the outline point of view. So don't ever come say Dwan said this and that. I'm giving you motherfucker. She just told me whoopty wham. And who whoopty wham. And I ain't gonna get involved because it ain't my fucking story to tell. But the reason why I said that is, after she told me that, my first thought was, after all that, Teddy never complained. You never saw Teddy cry about it. You never saw Teddy say anything bad about anybody. I never heard Teddy say anything bad about anybody. And y'all see what it is. Just go look at All Def Digital pre-Teddy and post-Teddy. Teddy really blew that motherfucker. Teddy really put it out there. And then Craig took it, will roast me, really pushed it out. But Teddy's that dude. Teddy's that dude. And it was just beautiful to see, you know? And he never complained. He never complained. Like, he never said one bad thing about them. He never said one bad thing about anybody over there. And when they would need him for something, I would see him out, do it, you know? Teddy never said anything bad about anybody at All Def. If Teddy brought your name up, it was to say something positive. If he didn't have nothing positive to say about it, he didn't say nothing at all. You know, if the conversation is somebody or something like that, it'll come up. And he may laugh with that funny ass laugh of his, but he didn't say nothing bad about nobody. He didn't say that. And here's the thing about me and Teddy's relationship. I'm not even gonna act like I was in his inner circle. Me and Teddy rode in two different circles. Like, Teddy was like, we rode in two totally different circles. The thing is with me and Teddy's circles, in a couple different circles I was in, they were overlap with circles he was in. That's how it would be most of the time. Directly at the comedy clubs, of course, especially my first 5 years in comedy, from like 2010 to 2015, I saw Teddy at least 3 nights a week, just being at comedy clubs all the time. When I used to be on the comedy grind real heavy, I would see Teddy 2 to 3 nights a week from like 2010. But even then, we would say what's up, but we would I'll be smoking over, like we'd all smoke in a circle. But like when it's time to smoke, we would be out there together. But after we was done smoking, Teddy would go to his circle, I would go to my circle. But like part of my music circle and like Teddy's circle would like overlap. Like I was like, our relationship was like a MasterCard. Y'all know like that little MasterCard logo where it's like 2 different circles, but every now and again those circles will overlap. And that's how it was with me and Teddy. Like when I'll be on my music tip, the same artist that I'm cool with, Teddy cool with. You know, he'd be like, what the fuck you doing here, nigga? Oh no, I'm here to see J-Mo. Like, nigga, I'm here to see J-Mo, dog. What the fuck? Oh, that's what's up. I was in the studio with J-Mo and Anderson .Paak. Man, that song is cold. And then I'd be like, that's what's up, Teddy. And then I go back to my circle, he go back to his circle. You know? But we were around each other a lot. And our last conversation that we had, like I said, I'll tell y'all more about it when I get to the point where I can just tell it. I'm telling y'all right now, if I told that story right now, I'd be crying my ass off. I ain't even gonna lie. Fuck you, Knockout Noda. He said I represented Popeyes, she represented Chick-fil-A. Yeah. Yeah, but like I was saying, hip hop and stand up comedy, the twins, they're the two ties. They're the Republican. Here's no. Let me give it Republican Democrat. That's not good enough. That's not an accurate enough comparison. Let me put it like this: music is, I would say, I would say that's the congressional branch. That's the Congress and the Senate. Stand-up comedy is the judicial branch of government. I would put it more like that. The expressions, as far as creative expressions, the head, the presidency, the executive office, that's the body of Black America. How Black America executes its creativity, its Congress and the Senate, is the music. They create. Stand-up comedy is the judicial branch, Supreme Court. Comedy lays down the final law because your best comedy comes from the truth. That's why stand-up comedy's been sucking so much because they won't allow people to tell the truth. The reason why Dave Chappelle is so big is because Dave Chappelle tells the truth. The reason why they don't want to put Corey Holcomb out there is because Corey Holcomb tells the truth. Richard Pryor told the truth. Stand-up comedy is the judicial branch of government, of our arts and entertainment. It lays down the final law. But they work together, you know? The judicial branch upholds what the Congress and the Senate puts out. That's his job. The Congress and the Senate is the blues and the jazz. It's the hip hop. It's the R&B. Yeah. We live in a universe, we live on an earth that sound vibration. This whole earth is sound. Our whole life is sound. That's why we have organs. That's why our heart beats. Beat. You know, think about it, you know. Think about how important sound is. Everything is sound. Trees vibrate, create a sound. So, you know, your heart makes a sound. Your lungs make a sound. Everything is a sound. And so music is the interpretation of your environment through sound. You got to remember that. So this all ties in together. What we talking about with Fat Joe saying hip hop is 50% Latino. Here's the reason why it can't be 50% Latino. Is because Latinos march to a different beat. How can you be the fundamental creator of a beat you don't march to? The Latino beat is that island Puerto Rican beat. Man, niggas, we hear that shit, we'll bob our head to it for like 30, 45 seconds. But after about 2 minutes of we ready to sock somebody. That ain't the beat we march to. We march to our own beat here in North America. And the beat that hip hop marches to is On the One. Boom, 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 boom. That's where you flow. We don't flow to do. That shit sounds stupid to us. How can you be the 50% creator of a beat that you don't march to? Every culture marches to its own beat. Every culture creates its own beat. And your beat, sir, is not on the one. You got to understand what the one means. The one is unity. The one is essence of black culture. When you dive into the philosophy of the one, it's simple and it's deep at the same time. One is the number of unity, it's the number of unison. It's the shared value. It's the number in every number that comes after it. One. Nothing starts without one. Everything is on one. When they say everything is on the one, when Parliament Funkadelic has a song, and they played that shit too. When I went to go see them last Friday, and I think I'm gonna go see them again this coming Wednesday in Inglewood. I think I'm gonna go see them again. They played it. Everything is on the one. Everything is on the one. Because everything starts at one. And so the philosophy when James Brown switched it and put the one at the beginning of the beat, it ties everything in together. Everything you do after is how life is. After one, we all go off into our own thing. Everybody does their own thing after one. You have a family reunion, that's one. And after the reunion, everybody goes back off and do what they think until the next family reunion. Everybody comes back to the one. Life, when you breathe, that moment between the exhale and the inhale, that's the one. The one is a very, very deep philosophy. That's why it's so essential to the world music now. George Clinton, he expounded upon the one. That's why when you listen to some dickhead broke a glass bottle. God damn, I thought I heard the bottle break. It was that fucking bum that walked by in that basket earlier. Good thing about where I live, it ain't no, you see these motherfuckers walking with their baskets, but ain't no bums nowhere. I mean, I live in a part of LA where it ain't no goddamn bums. I'm grateful for that. Like, it ain't no tents nowhere near my house. I can't say that for 80% of LA. I live in that 20% pocket where it ain't a goddamn tent nowhere around here. And if a tent pop up, that motherfucker gone within 36 hours. But anyway, when you listen to Parliament Funkadelic and listen to the song Give Up the Funk, that's a prime example. What George would see when James Brown started on the one, he just had the kick and the cymbal on the one. And then the musicians could do whatever they wanted to do in between 1 and 4. When George Clinton got a hold of the one, what he did, if you listen to We Want the Funk, they sang that in unison. Unison is what? One voice. The cymbals, the drummer, the bass, the keys, the guitar, every single instrument hits it really hard on one. Boom. Bring it back together. And George Clinton expounded upon 2 philosophies. This is what makes George Clinton so important in music. George Clinton expounded on 2 great philosophies and made them bigger. He took the one that James Brown brought, and made it bigger. But he did the same with Count Basie. See, Count Basie, his philosophy in swing was you could play anything you want. Just make it swing. Count Basie brought space into music. Count Basie brought simplicity. You don't have to play every note. but at the same time, he had a grand sound. And Count Basie was about letting his band shine. He didn't have to shine on the piano. And a lot of in the swing era, the guy on piano always wanted to be the lead. Count Basie knew how to sit back. George Clinton took that philosophy and brought it to funk. And he allowed his musicians to play whatever they wanted to play, as long as it was funky. It had to be funky. You can play whatever you want to play. But he had two rules. Play whatever you want to play. It gotta be funky, and it gotta come back to one. And that's why the music sounds so grand and so uniting, and so, even though you're partying, it just hits your soul. And that's the philosophy that undergirds all hip-hop music. Rap, I don't care if you're talking about East Coast, I don't care if you're talking about West, especially West Coast, down South, all that shit hit hard on the one. It's the binding philosophy that undergirds the sound of the music. Fat Joe comes from an island where they play that goofy sounding shit. How the fuck you claim hit 50% hip hop when that ain't even your sound? That's where we gotta go with this, people. This ain't even your sound. Where and what? You said you gave us b-boying? You can't b-boy to try to b-boy to that corny ass shit. You look like you hyperventilating. You could only b-boy to the one. God damn it. You can't b-boy to a fucking cowbell and timbales. Try to b-boy to a nigga in a cowbell and timbales, going laka. You'll look like you're having an epileptic seizure if you try to b-boy to a fucking cowbell and a shaker and some nigga playing the congos. You look like a goddamn fool. It's no way you can b-boy to doonch 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 doonch. That shit the Mexicans play. You can't b-boy to doonch 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 doon 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 doon. You can't b-boy to that shit. What the fuck did you bring us, Fat Joe? Like what? Can you, huh? See, that's why like school is a waste of time in a lot of ways. By the 9th grade, every child in America should have had at least one cultural anthropology class. Because in cultural anthropology, they teach you how to define culture, what that is, and how to trace the migration of culture. And anthropologically, when you're looking at dominant and dominant cultures and subcultures, and less dominant societies, you look at the traits, you look at where something started. Okay, say you're in anthropology and you're doing a dig and you're trying to find out more about a society. And you do a dig and you come up and you see this bowl. And this bowl that you see is different than all of the other bowls that you find at the dig. Say at the dig you come up on what would have been a kitchen from back in the day, from on the site that you dig that's 10,000 years old, all right? Let me put my because for some of you niggas, y'all only like people with a college degree, so let me put my college degree hat on. This is Dwann, the college degree graduate speaking, all right? I'm gonna turn my nigga side off real quick. I speak 98% of my talk to y'all from my nigga side, because the nigga side is where the real information comes from. That should get, but I'm gonna put my college degree side on, right? So we're in anthropology. We're at a dig site, right? The dig site has 10 bowls and cups. Out of the 10 bowls and cups, they for the most part all have the same look, but there's one bowl that looks different. It has a different pattern, has a different drawing on it. It's made with a different material. We're gonna look at the material because the cultures make things from the materials that they have local access to, right? Cultures make materials from their immediate environment. This includes music, right? But I'm using hard science right now as an example. So we see that and we say, and we pick that bowl up that has a different material and we test and see, okay, where is this material from? And then you put it in the database and you find that there's a site from across the Caribbean or over in Africa that particular material comes from. And then you go to that particular country, that particular region of the world, and you look at their pottery, and their pottery has the same design and the same material as this bowl over here that we see at this other dig site 10,000 miles away. So from that, we can conclude that this particular society was in trade with that society, but although that society made trade with this society, it doesn't mean that that society over there can claim ownership of this society here, because there was a particular pot or bowl that was discovered that was traded at some point in time in history. So we can conclude this particular style of pottery with this particular material comes from this particular region of the world. We can conclude that, and then we'll get a few other points of references and we can conclude that decisively. That's how that's how science works. Well, it's the same with music. If I see over here, there's a particular pattern with the music, a music that's consistently evolving, a music that has oftentimes polygenesis roots, meaning it can technically start in one area, but you can see its inception coming up in multiple areas at the same time. And then you see there's this other group that's an aberration. It's that traded pot that I talked about in the first example. You get these people from some other island somewhere, and you see that they're in the mix. In a room, in a country full of bowls and pottery that's indigenous to the soil and the land in which they live. Now you see this other piece of pottery that comes from another region of the world that is unique and great within its own right, but you can conclude that that unique piece was traded into a society that already had its own diversity of unique pieces. Like, thank you for the bowl. I appreciate it. I may even put it on my mantelpiece. But this thing about bowls being made, this party was going on whether you got traded to me or not. This party been going on. Thank you. But you didn't create nothing that wasn't already happening. That's how you look at things scientifically. And that was a very base level example. It gets deeper than that. That's just the first level, because scientifically you want at least 7. In school, they give you 3 or 4 points of reference. Some bum dropped that earlier. In school, they give you 3 or 4 points of reference and you can get an A paper on your research paper. Oftentimes in peer-reviewed articles, like when you're looking at like Dr. Ivan Van Sertima's, They Came Before Columbus, he's sometimes using 6 to 8 points of references. Linguistics, botanical evidence, carbon dating, just different foods, things like that, to prove his point that they came before Columbus. Same with Dr. Clyde Winters. Y'all saw my interview with Dr. Clyde Winters. Those articles that Dr. Clyde Winters has on his Patreon that I hope y'all subscribing to, those articles, Dr. Clyde Winters is giving you 5 and 6 points of references for every point that he makes. So when you're defining culture and talking about what culture came from one, you have to give, if you want a C or a low B on your paper, you got to give at least 3 points of references. If you want that guaranteed A, you got to give 5 points of references. And when I give points of references on the roots of hip hop, I can reference the same phenomenon going on in funk. I can reference the same phenomenon going on in disco. I could tell you that same phenomenon in Delta blues versus New Orleans style blues. Their own attire, their own lingo, their own style of dress that was unique from someone else, their own calligraphy. And everywhere you see black music in America, those so-called elements you see that are essential to hip-hop, well, they're also essential to Appalachian music. They're essential to Zydeco. They're essential to country. They're essential to techno. They're essential to house, funk. They're essential to Chicago style hip-hop is different than LA style hip-hop. We dress different. We wear our hats different. But at its core, it's the same thing. It's an expression of it's an expression of the musical culture through style of dress, through style of conversation, through style of talk. In Houston, they call going back and forth ranking. Here in LA, we call it clowning. Back in the 70s, they call it playing the dozens. No matter whether you call it playing the dozens, another thing with our culture, it evolves drastically every 5 years. The words that were in popular use 5 years ago don't even exist now sometimes. And we're on to something new. And don't let 15 years go by. You've done gone through 3 different evolutions in style of speech in Black American culture. Oh, you want to talk about the Jamaicans say they brought toasting? Okay, you said toasting came from the ska music, which your forefathers of ska said that they learned that in America. Let's just start off by saying that. The forefathers of ska and rocksteady said that they brought the toasting that they heard in America. But okay, fine. Let's say you want to ignore your own scholars. Okay, well, ranking, clowning, roasting, playing the dozens, whatever you want to call it, you can find that in every form of music. You can find it in the blues. You can find it in the Delta blues. You can find it in jazz. Listen to Fats Waller. Fats Waller was popular in the 1930s. And go look up Fats Waller. Fats Waller is one of the most important musicians ever. He's the person that really laid the foundation for what will become R&B. He was that gap between Louis Armstrong's jazz and then what will become Ike Turner's and Chuck Berry's R&B and Fats Domino. That matter of fact, Fats Domino was named after Fats Waller. Fats Waller had a song called My Very Best Friend, the Milkman. It's a song about him thinking that the milkman's his homie, only to find out the milkman been fucking his wife. That's what the song is about. Like Fats Waller used to have, go look up Fats Waller on YouTube. You see this dude with this big ass smile, he'd be playing that piano and clowning. Cracking jokes was essential to Fats Waller's music. Look him up. Oh, his descendant is Darren Water on the Raiders. That's what's dope. Skew Raider. That's dope. Thanks for letting me know that, man. I didn't know that. Thanks for the information. So, what's up, Sugar D. Rosenblum? So, Bill Cosby. He has music albums. Like, my father-in-law did Silver Spur with Bill Cosby. Comedy. It was his album. It was music. Music and comedy are like, I'm telling you, they're the same thing. They're the same thing. Go watch that documentary on the Comedy Store. I don't know if y'all seen that on Amazon. They have a documentary, and it's done really well by Guy Torry. Salute to Guy Torry. Guy Torry is somebody who's like been a big brother to all of us. He was like a big brother to people like me, Teddy Ray. Guy Torry was always around for us. Like if he was around, I won't say he was around for us, but I'll say this. If Guy Torry's in the building, and any of us younger comics wanted to talk, he always had an open ear. But Guy Torry did a documentary on the Comedy Store. And like how Tupac would be up there. My man Gerard Guillory was in that documentary. I'll be interviewing him pretty soon. But in that shop, they're talking about how, in that documentary, they're talking about how hip hop and stand-up comedy really came together at the Comedy Store. How, because Snoop was in it, Snoop be talking about, how, all them niggas at Death Row, that's where they be on Tuesday night. And how it really was like a common bond between hip-hop and stand-up comedy. And I was thinking like, man, I wish I knew Guy was doing this documentary. I wish I could have talked to him. Because like, it's almost like black people, we get surprised when we see that. Like, no, that's our culture. It's supposed to be like that. Shit. Sneezing like a motherfucker. It's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that way because that's why, like, it's so important that we understand our culture, because we'll see these trends keep coming up over and over and over again, and then be surprised every time you see them. Like, no, you shouldn't be surprised when you see stand-up comedy and hip hop come together, because hip hop was essential to Def Comedy Jam. Kid Capri. Kid Capri was as necessary as Martin Lawrence. Go back and look at them stand-up comedy shows that used to be on HBO before Def Comedy Jam. Like them old Rodney Dangerfield specials. It would be like, coming to the stage next, Sam Kinison. And then just some people clapping, no music. I do those kind of shows sometimes where ain't no DJ. And people just kind of clap. Just a whole different energy to the show. But you see this, what I'm just pointing out to you guys is this. I'm just really trying to show you how you see this behavior repeated over and over and over and over and over again. Look at Corey Holcomb. That nigga's songs be funny as hell. Them 5150 songs, them shits be hilarious. I don't like your daughter, bitch. Stand-up comedy and music are twins. And you can see that. You can see that in my Black music family tree. You right about that. It's respect is key. DJ Envy do sound like you stole this whole entry from Kid Capri. When you say that, that sounds. No, hip hop does not belong to everybody, to everyone. No. Y'all sucking hip hop's black titty. Just because you're sucking on the titty don't mean it's yours. God damn it. Some of y'all's mamas been smothered out to 2/3 of every First Baptist church in your city. Your mama been through the First AME church, of the First Ebenezer AME. She done got smothered out by First Rock Missionary Baptist. 2/3 of the deacons done seen her missionary style and they like it. But it still don't mean that she's everybody's mama. She's only your mama. See how that work? Black people have allowed our creation to be smutted out. I'm glad that person brought that up. Black people, because we're ungrateful, we've been ungrateful. We're just now learning how to be grateful for our art, because we tend to create shit and then just create something new, and then everybody else come and steal it and say it's theirs. And we just keep pushing. So in a lot of ways, black people brought this on ourselves. We kind of deserve it, because I've been saying this shit for a long time. You still see these hip-hop niggas not want to acknowledge the fucking blues. Some of these niggas, not all of them. Snoop, Ice Cube, Chuck D, KRS-One, they acknowledge the grandfathers. But a lot of these new niggas don't want to do that. So, in a way, it's kind of a good these people have been trying to take it, because it's putting us up on guard. But it's no, we've smutted hip hop out to everybody, and that's been our mistake. We've allowed people like Jay-Z to ascend to the top, that basically use his lyrics to make Black America become like mega consumers, and then tell you we're done kneeling because I got a paycheck from the NFL. We've allowed that bullshit to go on, and then we've allowed niggas to put bras like Iggy Azalea on, make them stars. We've allowed people to say Eminem is the greatest of all time, knowing good and the hell well he can't, that motherfucker can't lick Shock G's strap. And so we've allowed people to get too comfortable. We smuttered it out, you know what I mean? The same way some people's mamas be getting smuttered out in church and at work. Your mama ain't even fucking the CEO. Your mama fucking the lead of the marketing department and the security guard at the same time. Like, why is your mama fucking the security guard and the lead of the marketing department? They're about to have a fight at the Christmas party now. And now she about to get fired because she was fucking the security guard and the lead of the marketing department. It's not the security. She's not the security guard's mom or wife. She's not the lead of marketing's mom or wife. She's your mama. No matter how many times she been smuttered out. In Black America, we've allowed hip hop to be smuttered out way too long. But she's still our bitch. It's time for us to clean her up. What's that old gospel song? Hey, I should if I was on my computer, I'd play that old gospel song. The potter wants to put you back together again. Whoa, the potter wants to put you back together again. All you niggas that was in church in the 80s and the 90s know what I'm talking about. Fuck you young niggas. Y'all may not know that. If you niggas is like 25, you may not know that song. But if you like 45 and 50, 40, nigga, you was in church when that song came on. The potter wants to put you back together again. Yeah. What's the other gospel song? I forgot the name of that song. I can't think of that other gospel song. But yeah, it's time. But we've allowed our culture to get smutted out because, and here's the reason why I can't get too down on us. I understand it from a big picture. The reason why y'all never see me get mad at racism and all that stuff, because one, you can't do anything out of anger. When you're angry, you can't think straight. So that's one reason. People always say, we need to get angry. Man, the only thing you're gonna do when you get angry is fight or flight. And niggas ain't been fighting shit. Niggas been flighting back into basketball. Niggas don't fight when they get angry. Niggas go watch LeBron James and get into a fucking 7-hour argument. Who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? That's what niggas do when they get angry. They see, oh shit, another black person got shot. I'm gonna go on Twitter and Facebook. I'm gonna say something angry. I'm gonna join a Twitter space and I'm gonna say some angry shit. And then I'm gonna watch the game tonight. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna watch the game. I'm gonna be on Twitter reading Twitter while the game is on. And then when the game is over, I'm gonna watch the highlights. And then I'm gonna go on Twitter and watch some more highlights. And then I'm gonna read the stat line. And then I'm gonna go on Facebook and go in my Facebook group. And I'm gonna argue with a whole bunch of other grown ass bitter men that are escaping reality like I am about why my player is better than yours. And we're gonna be in a Facebook group argument for the next 5 hours, 8 hours. We're gonna go to sleep and wake up and continue that argument over why LeBron James is better than Kevin Durant. That's what niggas do when they angry. So no, we don't need to be angry. We need to be thinking. We need to see shit for what it is. Man. And we got to give Horace Silver his credit. Horace Silver was also one of the forefathers of the Latin sound. And he's a foundational black American. He's actually Herbie Hancock's older cousin. But Horace Silver has a song called Song for My Father. You want to listen to some of your early Latin jazz? Go and listen to that foundational black American. See, when other groups say that they contribute to our culture, they name one random person from one random little thing. When black people say that we created your culture, we show you where we recorded the earliest sounds of what will become your culture. We show you how before Mantanka was created by Dizzy Gillespie, you Latins didn't even use a fucking drum set. Y'all use timbales and congos and cowbells and shakers and shit. Same with Horace Silver, Song for My Father. That's what made y'all start incorporating the drum set more and the bass guitar. Y'all weren't using the drum set and the bass guitar. The drum set and the bass guitar is essential to the Latin sound now. Essential. If you think I'm lying, check my fucking record. Look me up. Tell me if I'm wrong. And prove to me and show me your music from Latin America that used a bass guitar and a drum set. Before Dizzy and before Horace Silver. Again, going back to my anthropology example. There you see an addition brought to your culture that's rooted. The wood comes from North America. The design comes from North America. Everything comes from North America. The foot pedal, the sticks, the hi-hat, the cymbals, the stands, the microphones, the style of play. You see it spread like wildfire throughout North America. You see that same setup in Seattle, Houston, Los Angeles, Buffalo, New York, Miami, Florida, New Orleans, San Francisco, Kansas, Chicago. Everybody throughout this country uses that same setup. Drums, bass, keys. There was no drums, bass, keys in your culture. And if it was a keys, it was a piano. It was not a fucking Rhodes piano. The first person to use that alternative Rhodes, again, if you want to talk about that, the keyboard that makes those weird, the Rhodes, the first time that was used on record in jazz was Bitches Brew by Herbie Hancock. Has Horace Silver's cousin. Herbie Hancock on Bitches Brew. That's where he first brought in that Rhodes. You see this sound all throughout North America. But when you take it down to the Caribbean, you don't see it anywhere. It doesn't exist. This particular setup existed in North America for well over 50 years at the time. Drums, bass, keys. Documented. D.D. Chandler drum set in 1896. It doesn't show up in your culture until after Dizzy Gillespie records the first Latin jazz song. It doesn't appear into your culture till after Horace Silver or around the time of Horace Silver. You started to see it come in a little bit after Dizzy Gillespie's Manteca. That you start to see it come in slightly after that, but you don't start seeing that Black American instrumentation get adopted fully into Latin American culture to after Horace Silver's Song for My Father. Dun 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 dun. Look me up and tell me if I'm lying. So you see, when Black Americans can talk about your culture, we can talk about a particular element that you adopted and never let go. Okay, you want to say you brought in b-boying. Again, b-boying was already old, but b-boy been gone. Black Americans done created 10,000 dances within hip-hop since b-boying. Maybe 100,000 dances since fucking b-boying. I ain't never seen a nigga b-boy at a rap concert. Nigga, I saw Nas this year on stage. He from New York. Didn't nobody fucking b-boy. I saw the Roots on stage, fucking Black Thought. I didn't see nobody fucking b-boy. I saw Common on stage. Did nobody b-boy. It don't add up. It don't add up. So we can get scientific with them when it comes to this. But to answer the question, is hip hop 50% Latino? Hell no. Hip hop isn't 0.000000 add about 17,000 more zeros, then add a 1, and then that's about how much contribution Latinos had. Put a period, then put 17 infinite zeros, and then after an infinite times 7 amount of zeros, put a 1. But you gotta put an infinite amount of zeros first. That's the rule. The number is somewhere around 0 point, an infinite amount of zeros, and then a 1. After that, an infinite amount of zeros, put a 1. That's the Latino input in hip hop. Black Americans walk to our own beat, and that beat is on the 1. You dig? They said they invented Yaya Kong sailboats. Of course B-boy is black. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like I said, B-boy was done by the time they picked it up. I'm about to go back in and kick it with my wife, but she watching that bullshit ass P Valley. I can't watch no fucking P Valley. I ain't watching it. I cannot watch that shit. Got a horse-faced man with a fucking blonde wig on. I'm old school. I'm not cool with that. Y'all can do what y'all want to do, but I'm not gonna watch. When I was at the Hollywood Bowl on Wednesday, that big Frida dude came out with Tank and the Bangers. And as soon as that big Frida dude got on stage, I pulled my phone out and I check Twitter. Usually I don't really check my phone during shows. I record certain parts, but I don't really be looking at Facebook like that during shows. But the minute Big Frida got on stage, what y'all doing, world? What's up, Twitter? Yeah, I'm on the patio. I remember I used to come to y'all from my garage, but I can't go live from my garage anymore. Just the coverage in there is bad. I can't get no coverage in my garage. Like not strong enough to stream to y'all. That's why I don't be in my garage anymore with y'all. Yeah, I'm letting her watch about herself. I ain't watching that shit. Yeah. And then let me know. Book some readings. I'm gonna do a cardology reading on the week. I think I might do it Tuesday morning. We're gonna read the card of the week. We also gonna read some relationships. Yeah, positive influence. That's why I wrote the rose blunts. Yeah, that's the garage that yeah, man, me and Teddy smoked plenty of blunts in that garage. He'll just be coming in. Sometimes I'll be in that garage with my boy Franchise, another comic. Or I'll just be there by myself smoking. I hear Teddy dragging his feet. Oh, that nigga Teddy coming. Oh, what's up? Smoke yours. We smoke. Yeah, man, I'm about to get on upstairs. Damn, I'ma miss that. Or I'll be in my garage smoking, listening to music. And I'll be in there I just be there just listening to whatever I'm listening to. And then you hear Teddy laughing. That shit used to be. And every time Teddy laugh, it's just like it is on here. Every time he laugh, he make you laugh. I'll be in my garage listening to music or watching 5150 because I like watching 5150 in my garage. I'll be watching 5150. And then you seeing some shit and this nigga Teddy watching something on TV. This nigga dying laughing. And or he may have, or especially if Teddy has somebody over his house. I hear this nigga laughing. That shit used to be. Or me and my wife would be in chilling. And we watching a movie or some shit. And then all you hear is Teddy laughing. Each time we be like, I be watching a basketball game. And I hear them oh shit, this nigga Teddy home. Hey, what up? Yeah. I'm gonna miss that, man. I'm gonna miss that. I already miss it. But it looks like my wife is done watching that P-Valley bullshit, so I'm done talking to y'all. We about to get a reading, get the music poster. And no, Black American music is, hip-hop is completely Black American music. No matter how much we've shamingly, pitifully have allowed it to be smutted out. Shame on black people. Shame, shame, shame. Spending all day talking about a top 5 and no time preserving a culture. Shame on us. But we changing that. I'm out.